I think this is the part where I do something really cute, like, oh, we're starting the video. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to whatever the fuck this show is called. I should probably silence my phone. Welcome back to whatever the fuck this show is called. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about music stuff. Music. It's my whole life. It's all I know. I know nothing else. I am worthless to the world without music. While we're on that, you know what? I mean, I think, yeah, I can flip the screen away. I don't need to look at myself. I imagine that there are more people out there like me than just me who think to themselves of their worth only by the measurement of how successful they are. And I think in a world fueled by social media levels, I should say egregious levels of success on social media, it's very easy to feel like if you're just an average Joe, who's just trying to make a name for themselves, no matter who you are, I believe it feels likely a little disenfranchising when you put your heart and soul into something for years and years and years, and it's what you've come to know your being as. And when that trust that you have, even in yourself, gets violated, I think it rattles something deep within you. It's not necessarily, the question also has to be begged at that point too. If you're so rattled by particularly a failure or something that someone said about your career, there is credence to be saying that very thing is something that you think of yourself within yourself. So I think it's rather important to consider everything. You know what? I'm gonna put on a cool background because our attention spans are cooked, baby. Yes, is Sunglasses playing? You'd think, but it's not. And you know what? I might want to listen to it because this is quite fitting. Yeah, see, that's nice. So, in the grand scheme of things, you have to wonder. No, I'm just going to start speaking in non sequiturs. Yeah, check it out. Cool background. So, I think oftentimes in the pursuit of a habit, or a hobby, I should say, into turning that into a career, I think that's when you start to really lose yourself, or you have the potential to lose yourself. I think you start to value your own self-worth off of what other people are doing, and you start to look for keys and successes and formulas. And I don't really think that is the way to go about it. In all my years, I may have not that much to contribute to the general scope of music at the time, but I do believe that everybody's voice has some pertinence to the conversation. We shouldn't just be looking to the top of music creators. We should also be looking at the bottom. Because if you really want to try to understand why this whole thing works, well, you kind of have to look at it all. Because if you don't, so much data goes uncollected. So, anyway, in my point that I'm saying, I think it's a rather unhealthy thing to base the entirety of your success off of, or the entirety of your self-worth off of your success. And I know it's something that's often, it's repeated by perhaps your peers or your family, but it's never something that I really see people who aren't necessarily like, my friends or family saying it. I don't see social media influencers talking about it. I don't see talking heads talking about it. No one really defines what it is to feel successful in your own right, in your own heart. And I think there's a multitude of factors that go into that. It also depends on what your current responsibilities are in your life. If you have a kid, if you have multiple children, if you're married, if you're already holding down a job and you've structured your life around such, I think your definition of success can shift. Even if you are pursuing music, and maybe you're not doing it as much as you want to, right? But in that, I think it's very easy to lose sight of all the good things that you do, all the good that you put out into the world, all the things that you do within the day that doesn't necessarily either A, get recognized, or B, feels like you're actually doing something that's like worth your time in the sense that it can make you money. Unfortunately, that's kind of the point that we've come to, right? Is that like anything that I do, especially at this age, like I'm 26, has to be in mind of, I have to make money off of this. If I don't make money off of this, I am a failure. And I think that is so damaging to artists of any caliber, any age, any creed, whoever. To base your success solely off of successes is not. It's not the way, man. There's so many better ways about it. The failures, I think, also define who you are. It defines your success. And in some cases, too, I would argue that some other people looking in at your situation from the outside might see your failing as credit towards your success. They'll see it as like, oh, this humanizes this person, because so much of it is so much of life, of life's successes, life's success stories. Look at anybody who is at the top of the top. I'm not talking about like just the billionaires. I'm not saying like look at Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. I'm talking look at fucking Usher. We love Usher. No, like look at freaking anybody throughout all of history. You look at the Beatles. You look at Led Zeppelin. You look at Nirvana. You look at all these guys. They're all huge, massive success stories, and the story never really changes, right? It's always like, four ragtag dudes, or like one dude wanted to, they had this vision, they wanted to make this thing cool, and then I feel like just success in and of itself, shows or gives people like an infinite supply of oh, well, now I can just milk this thing forever in every capacity. It's like, because I was in Led Zeppelin, I can now go to talks about it and be paid for the talks. I can write a book about it. I can, if Led Zeppelin was a modern day band, they'd probably make a YouTube. They'd probably start talking about it because they've maybe run out of all the money that they have and start having to go on YouTube to tell stories, and that's all well and good and stuff. That's totally fine, totally acceptable. But unfortunately, these success stories kind of imbue this sense of like of failure. I'm going to say it's called failiosity in your brain, the curiosity to wonder, am I a failure? And what is the answer to that? I would say it depends. I don't think anyone clicks on a video to hear, oh, well, it depends. Everyone wants to hear an answer. That you on the other side of this camera want me to tell you that I have all the answers to your life. And I'm here to tell you, I don't, man. I just have what I know is true in my head, and I could be fucking completely wrong, man. You could be taking advice from some dumbass, but you're here, and I thank you for that. Thanks for being here. If you stuck around this long, um, but and I mean, I think it also comes. It also is worth saying that, like, you know, the fear of being a failure is, I don't want to say it's healthy in some way, but unfortunately, it's pushed me to this point of where I'm at now. I think I accepted to start making music mainly with other people when I was uh, 14, and 12 years later now, I'm sitting not that far from where I started. Having not really released anything of my own, of any substantial cause, except for my wildly successful video series, The Space Odyssey, filmed here in my studio. Filmed here in my studio. What's the problem? We need more men in this country. What happened to all the men? I think the very existence. No. I think success stories are good, but they're not the end all be all. We need people like myself who, like I said, I don't think I'm like a complete failure. I've gone on like 20 billion side tangents by this point, and I'm probably the least interesting person you'll ever hear. But I don't know. To go back, like, success depends on how you define it. Of course, a billion people have said that before, but it's true. If you're a music artist, if you're an artist of any caliber and you're looking to do this thing that you want to do, oh fuck, I got Logic behind me. I got a little altar boy behind me. What the hell? What is this? The Catholic Church? We're gonna fix that. There we go. A bang. Good old iTunes screensaver before it was ever Apple Music. Anyway, I think, like I said, success is defined so much by more by who you are rather than what you do. There can be successful people who are assholes. They're successful on paper, but they're fucking assholes. And there can be successful people who are not successful on paper, who are the most kind people you will ever meet, because they're not concerned with monetary success. And unfortunately, this world is enforcing the idea that you have to make money. If you want to do this thing that you want to do, you got to make money. And all the time in your day has to be spent making money. Because how else are you going to afford a fucking house these days? How else are you going to even afford to pay rent, to buy food, to buy water? I mean, Jesus, dude. To even like just catch a break, afford 2 seconds of your day to just maybe watch a movie, watch your favorite TV show without feeling like, oh, I'm throwing my life in the fucking drain. It's a shame. These big companies like YouTube and shit, I hate to say it, it feels like in a way blood money, even though I'm not making any fucking money off this thing. They're hawking on us, treating us like fucking rats to make them more money in the pursuit of us making our own money by being on this platform, pretending that we're our own boss and putting the horse blinders on and saying that, oh yeah, no, YouTube isn't really our boss. It's like I'm my own boss. I get to make my own hours. Guess what? You fucking don't. Do you know what it takes to even start monetizing on YouTube? I think it's like 3,000 or 4,000 watchable hours or watched hours, something like that. A million views on a short or cumulative shorts, something like that, all within 1 year, 1 calendar year, maybe even 1 fiscal year. So double fuck you. You took 5 days. You took whatever 4 or 5 days, depends on if it's a leap year, off my fucking potential. What if I blew up in those last 4 days? I don't know. It could not be fiscal year. It could be calendar. The fact of the matter is that, especially in the beginning, you're kind of beholden to have to be like, well, I guess I gotta go viral if I really want this thing to pop off. But the fact of the matter is you don't. I fully believe that the world seems like you have to go viral, but I don't think it's the answer at all. I think if you just stick with what you're doing, put your head down. No, don't put your head down. Listen to criticism. Tell your ideas to people around you, those who care about you. I think the more afraid you are to say what your idea is that you want to do, your venture, whether it's in art or business or anything like that, I think it is more important that you tell someone who you're afraid to tell because you're wondering if they're going to tell you no. And oftentimes, I think it's more important to be told no than to be in such a deluded state that you are, only telling yourself yes or no. It's like, again, because this reels back into the same, it connects to the clause of virality. That's kind of this business agreement that you enter with YouTube, and it's not necessarily anything that's, it's not a healthy arrangement by any means whatsoever. And I think a good adage that comes into play here is don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? I think you don't want to necessarily hurt yourself in the pursuit of what you're doing, but you do also want to have some stake, right? This is just falling apart, man. I think I'm gay and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Virality is a myth. Virality is a myth designed by those who are in control of this online space, that you have to go viral if you want anything. I think there is much credence to be said in slow growing your success. It's like the adage, Rome wasn't built in a day, and it's another one for you. That one's free. Rome wasn't built in a day. There's not a fucking chance in hell that you will ever be able to break down a formula to anything, really. Especially once you get to more complex topics, like predicting why a video went well. All this shit that YouTube has, like, oh, you could change your thumbnail afterwards, and you could change your video title. We suggest that you do this. It'd be wise if you did that. dude, I get it. That's cool that you're like investing all this money into data research to figure out how to go viral consistently. But you know what happens then? It just raises the bar because people are going to start seeing what you've done and be like, oh, okay, and either follow that or go against it. And it's not even that the bar is raised and that now there are people left behind who are still, dumber for not knowing the data that you've collected on all of us. They're raised with it essentially. Culturally, society starts to operate on this bar, and all this data that's collected to inform us of how to make the most viral video is no longer useful. It's useless. It has no purpose because now, if everybody has the capability to make a viral video, what makes the new viral happen? You would have to go it's almost like, if you look through culture, it's like maybe there's going to be an antiviral revolution or something in music, the antiviral culture wave that happens where people reject virality, and it's cooler to like the stuff that's less viewed because who gives a shit about the stuff that's more viewed? It's cookie cutter at this point. It's like who do you know that actually goes out and watches like their local news clippets that they have out there? The 1, 2, 10, 15 minute, whatever it might be, clippets of fucking 69 schmoos or whatever the fuck, 72 dudes or something like that. Like, it's trite, it's old hat, it's the media we've had for a billion years. And here I am saying that, being a talking head right here to you. At least it's different. At least I can say fuck all I want. I can say fuck, 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 fuck. And nothing's going to happen to me, especially because I can't monetize. I can't. So what does it fucking matter? I should just play a Beatles song right here, right now. Who gives a damn? This. I think we are going to be in a sort of cultural shift that will happen very, 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 very soon. I'm saying like within the next 5 years, you're going to see. I think you might actually see this antivirality thing kick in. I think it's going to be less cool to be viral. It's going to be less cool to be known, well known. It's going to be cool to be like a cool, like little best kept secret. It's going to be cooler to have a tight knit group of fans who actually care about you. Perfect example I like to think of when it comes to music, and I can't speak on this as a lifelong fan, as I know many people out here are, but Wolfpack, Wolfman, fucking Jack Stratton, Joe Dart, Corey Wong, Woody Harrelson, I forget, Guthrie, Theo Katzman. Yeah, that's all their names. Those guys, I think are, at least from what I can see, kind of the definition of what I'm talking about. I think they just kind of were just making videos just to make them, just kind of like the way that old YouTube was. Like I was able to grow up with old YouTube, and I saw it evolve from this thing that was this very innocent thing where people just made videos for the love of the game, just to do it because they liked doing it. The first video on YouTube was from one of the creators of just being like, it's like me at a zoo, and then after that you got hippopotamus with noodles on his back and Charlie the Unicorn. It's the most beautiful, like, DIY, I'm just going to do this kind of shit, and it in some ways it kind of felt like the best kept secret, but then you started to see something that we had never seen in history before, I think, and it was it was media virality. That's what I'm going to call it for now. It's probably not an official term. Fuck it. But you start to see media virality emerge probably by the time that like Gangnam Style came out. I'm going to say. I don't know. That's probably not true. No, Rebecca Black's Friday. That shit went viral. that was like one of the original ones. Yeah, and went viral probably for the wrong reasons, probably for people wanting to hate on it. Gangnam Style, kind of the opposite, kind of a bop, honestly. Oppa Gangnam Style, but I will say that YouTube changed at that point. At that point, that we realized that it's not like TV where it's like we can. I don't even know how they measure how many viewers they have back in the days of like analog and early digital stuff for TV. Like how did anyone quantify like, oh yeah, someone's viewing this, because no one like had an account, and then if they did have an account for their service provider, whatever. The fact of the matter is we have accounts, and now those can be ticks on videos. And someone learned along the way, oh, virality is, this is the way. It's not even like they learned it along the way. It's just that, oh, viral videos bring a lot of people, bring a lot of attention. If we can show advertisers that we produce content that they can put their stickers on, being their ads, then we stand a chance at making money for this. And guess what? Of course, advertisers are going to jump for it because they too want money. So then what happens? You grow into this space that is only concerned with virality because it makes the most money. And then you grow into this like meta space of that where it's like, if you're not even trying to be viral, we're not even going to push you. We're almost going to like blacklist you. We're going to push you down in the what we deem is acceptable for advertisers on this channel. And if you're not doing what our advertisers say you should be doing, then you are worthless to us, and we're not even going to bother pushing you. You can be on here and you can pretend that you're doing this thing, but you're really not doing this thing as much as you think you are, and that sucks, But again, to circle back to my Wolfpack point, I think that the concept was just to do whatever it is that they wanted to do. If it was Jack Stratton, if it was everybody, they just kind of made the music that they wanted to make and didn't really give a fuck about virality or making it big or anything like that. I wish I could take a time capsule to go back and see when in particular they hit a viral strike. Because I have a very hard time believing that 15 years ago, one of their oldest videos has over 500,000 views. It just doesn't seem plausible for a video in 2011 of some dudes like funking around. I don't know. I think that connects to my point of what I mean by I think their fans, because they stuck to their guns for so long and produced what the fans wanted to hear rather than what advertisers who were paying them wanted to hear. They created a richness in fans who just enjoyed what they were doing so much that they became almost feral for Wolfpack. I'm thinking that like they probably started to hit some bit of virality along the way and started to get pushed more. But I think their fans love what they do so much because they're so consistent with what they do that they were like, we're just going to pay these guys. Like we're gonna buy tickets. We're gonna buy merch. We're gonna go back on their old videos and we're gonna watch them. I think that's what happened. I think they gained millions of followers, and then a percentage of those millions are real true fans, but it's a large percentage, probably much larger than any other band in history of this caliber in this kind of a space of a band starting essentially on YouTube and growing from it. It really changes the dichotomy of the relationship between artist and fan. I think that they really changed the game there. They showed that They showed that it's possible. That it is possible to just kind of like stick to your guns, do your own thing, do what you want to do. If that makes you happy, that brings you success. That's enough. You know, the definition of success from everybody else is really just quite hogwash. If it's anything other than that, it's so easy to fall into this feeling of I'm a failure because why? I don't know. Because I don't know. I'm feeling it right now. I look I look around. I hear what I'm talking about, and I look at the time I've been talking this whole time. I look at all the times I've paused, all the times I lost track of my thought. It's like I look at myself right now. I'm like, you suck. You're a failure. You blah 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 blah. And I don't know if it's just some narcissistic part of me, some masochistic part of me, but it's just like a part that's like built into my nature. And I know other people feel it out there, and I don't necessarily want to be alone on this. Like, I sound off in the comments, please, man, tell me I'm not alone on this. Like, I don't know. What the fuck am I even saying?